Hey everybody, this is Scoots, and you're listening to Bedtime Stories from Sleep With Me, which is just stories from the Sleep With Me podcast. So if you like the stories from Sleep With Me, you've even checked out our original podcast, a full length. It's called Sleep With Me. And if you enjoy these stories, you could support the production of the show and get tons of stories, only versions of Sleep With Me on Sleep With Me Plus. If this show is worth, if you listen to it on a regular basis, you say, this show is worth $60 a year to me. This show's worth $120 a year to me. Sign up. You can sign up monthly or annually. You get a podcast with story-only versions of Sleep With Me, like this, but ad-free. You get full versions of Sleep With Me, bonus versions of Sleep With Me. And you help us keep making the show well into, hopefully, like the long future. So, but if you're new, check this out. This is called Bedtime Stories from Sleep With Me. And it'll be Bedtime Stories from Sleep With Me podcast. Thanks and good night. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's time for the podcaster that wonders, one, how does that drink company that makes sparkling water get key lime and limoncello to taste slightly creamy? And the other question is, even though I enjoy it, is that a good idea? Even if it's possible. Well, you know what time it is? These are the questions you could ponder, but probably not at bedtime because you don't like, well, I do have sparkling water near my bed sometimes. The real sparkle are the stars in your eyes, but your eyes are closed, but I can still see them because I can feel them, because it's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. And these are the sponsors. When your hand hits that coffee pot or fridge tomorrow, sleepwithmepodcast.com/sponsors. This is how we're able to be here free for you twice a week. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots. If you're looking for the most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me podcast or bedtime stories from Sleep With Me, you can get yourself a pair of sleep phones, like Sleep With Me merchandise sleep phones with different logos and cool stuff on there. And you could get that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleepphones and use Sleep With Me at checkout to save $5 off your order. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody. Scoots here. We're doing a little, we're doing, this is it was like, I'm not in the mood, I'm in the mood to record the show, but some of my behaviors are so learned after doing or practiced, that I should have paused before I hit record, but I hit record. I started recording or speaking, but this is great news. This is something new we haven't done, and I'm not even sure how it's going to go because I had an idea. So this is a TV recap of a show, and it fits in the kind of slot and style of the show we did with The Good Place. And I said, this is going to be lulling and learning from Lasso. So we're going to be talking about Ted Lasso season 1 over the next, however many episodes. And my ideal thing could, because, and this has been something I've been thinking about for a while. And I do like the shows kind of build up a little bit of a few seasons just so I have some lead time. And I don't know. That's just so it's like, I've jumped on some shows when they've started in the past, but it's nice because I was able to watch season 1, then watch kind of season 1 again with other people and, watch as the show's progressed. But then going back now and watching season 1 for the podcast. But, it's one of the things I was struck by when I've been watching it for pleasure is learning from Lasso, like I said, but also learning from everybody on the show, Rebecca, the Beard, and down the line. Someone might get some Nate eye rolls, but no, let's see what we can learn from Nate too. But more by example, not something, I don't know if this is the correct word of didactic, but it is like something through example, but maybe in a more, I don't know, maybe this will be more of a conceit of this, how it'll go, the meanders and stuff, or maybe it won't. We'll find out because we're new. This is our first time doing it. But I do think about that with The Good Place. I mean, we did in TNG how those examples were set forth. I mean, other shows too have good examples, but I think, I mean, there's like the humanist background to Star Trek, and then this more moral kind of compass part of The Good Place. I haven't got a chance to read the book yet. So I don't know. I mean, I think, and I do think there is this like countercultural type thing. And another thing, I guess, so this will be a tangent before we get to episode 1. Maybe we won't even do episode 1 right now. I think we will. But is that, like, I think it's also trying to think how to put this, because I did like this idea of writing Ted Lasso off or the show off as a piece of aw shucks optimism is something I've like had put on me too before. And sometimes I push back on that a little bit too hard, and I say, no, like, we like the podcast springs out of the deep, dark night. And I think that's pretty clear in Ted Lasso too, that it's something that there's like, that there's a depth beyond the surface, and that it's not like, is that vacuous or whatever. So I don't know. I guess that's the end of my tangent ended. So I don't know. Let's run through my notes and then visually watch the episode, because I'm just feeling like for this first episode, and then we'll check our time, because of these episodes' length. Maybe it'll give us some time to do some facts, and then I'm also like, how many facts do you need to be? I mean, Ted Lasso is learning through season 1 too. But yeah, so season 1, episode 1, pilot, music ? Training, goal moves, what, something, muse, bad, window, music, thinking face. It doesn't say bad thinking face. What does that say? Window. I think that, like, if I spelled window, IWNTET, but one of the T's are slanting towards one another. Music, something, thinking face, panting, 5th anniversary. This is, painting, 5th anniversary, Hockney, tabloids, George, we, assertive, George, we, George is here, maybe? Maybe that's that coach, short shorts, buyout contract. I put assertive because I think that's interesting. The first example is set by Rebecca that we can learn from, in that Rebecca's assertiveness is something I could learn from. And I don't know, I think she's very assertive here. And I mean, it's amazing. I mean, like, well, I guess, yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, I hope you've seen season 1 of Lasso when you're watching this. But I guess I'm trying to respect some of the journeys of this season are so good. Football. Is that what that says? FUTOOBALL, average. Liam and Noel, not an oasis. PP off, no raisins in my salad. And then it took me, like, I realized that was a joke or a callback to Liam and Noel, not oasis. I think, like, raisins, like, if you watch the episode, you said, like, it took me, this was on my second podcast watch. I said, oh, Rebecca's referring to something else. Does that say SVP? AFC, Richmond, Lasso, Sweet Ted. Oh, no, SVP. Yes, Scotty Van Pelt. So they set up Scott Van Pelt, who kind of does our first introduction to Ted from AFC Richmond, and Ted's. So they do a lot of, it's the pilot, right? So they have to do a lot of explaining, and they do it well. They really do it efficiently, in my opinion. And so this is the one where, so we meet Rebecca, and We meet Higgins briefly. I think it's Higgins in this, yeah. And we see that Higgins, and again, well done, well-written shows. Do not, again, don't get distracted by the surface because maybe you're seeing your reflection or you're seeing the sky and you're not looking in. So Scotty Van Pelt sets up Ted Lasso, the joyous Ted Lasso, moment of joy, beautiful game. Lavatory. Oh, yeah. So then, oh, man, I just can't believe all these choices. I really just kept liking them. So with our first contact with Ted, the real Ted Lasso, is he's coming out of a bathroom. We see he's reading Dharma Bums by Jack Kerouac. Well, we don't see that, but if you took some investigation, we see he's flying in first class, which makes sense. We see he has a friend, Coach Beard. He has a copy of Soccer for Dummies and Inverting the Pyramid. Then we get again through the eyes of the Ted's audience, this kid, oi mate, can we take an Ussie, Wicked? Then then Beard bestows on us our first kind of setup, but also information. Into touch means out of bounds. I put a note to try to read Beard's hand at some point, which I think there may be these references to Kansas City barbecue spots, but I'm not sure. And then Ted Lasso, man, shout out to On Summer's Horseback, episode of Sleep With Me in the 500s, I think, but we did really re-release it not that long ago. If you're enjoying riding a horse, you're doing it wrong. First class, oh boy, this is going to be tough. C.S. Galante in-out drums, not from each other. That's Ice Plan. 10:08 p.m. family pick, open song in sequence. He says, so this is a cute moment. You get through the dialogue and the performing, we see the depth of their friendship or their companionship, or like professional companionship. I don't know. They're friends, but they're also coworkers. If we see each other in our dreams, let's pretend not to know each other. And then I think I think Ice Plan is, now I can't remember, Inception. That's just my spelling of Inception. Because they said, it's that reference to Inception. Because if you really watch the show, I don't know if there is an end to the rap pop culture in jokes within jokes within jokes. I can't find the bottom of them in a good way. Okay, then after the opening sequence, we're at the airport. There's some good dialogue about sleep. Eat my Coke. My name's Ted. Eat my Coke. I don't know what that is. Oh, no, yeah, he ate Beard's cookie, and he said, let's not talk about that. Then another learning from Lasso. He introduces himself in a very smooth way. This is something we could practice maybe on our Discord. I don't know if anybody wants to do learning from Lasso. It would have to be more community than me leading it. But I guess this is one thing we could do every day is say, my name's Ted. What's yours? I mean, don't say Ted unless your name's Ted. He's Ollie. And they say, can we take your bags? They say, we packed them. We'll carry them. Pit stop. Their pit stop is at the Tower Bridge, not the London Bridge. We get a joke about that. Not in Kansas anymore. They're from Wichita State. So I thought that was a nice little double, it's like, it's from, I don't know. And Ted says something like, never said that when I wasn't in Kansas. I don't know. Then they're driving to the, I don't know what they call it, the pitch of football. I don't know what they call it, the stadium. And Ted says, how'd they come up with soccer? No hands. Beard's explaining it. Then they pause in the stadium. They have a view of the pitch. She loaf. I don't know. There's a long look. Again, well, we'll talk about the next thing we'll learn from Lasso and the Beard and Rebecca, actually. Ted touches the grass. Long look. View of the pitch. She look. I mean, that's what it looks like. It says, stop, get off. Who are you? And then he says, I'm Coach Lasso. Oh, okay. Take all the grass you want. What's your name? There's a long pause. Then they don't have any Nathans here. And then Ted says, I love this kid. Nate runs from Rebecca. Rebecca says, Mrs. Welton's my father. Call me Rebecca. Some more good dialogue because they talk about, well, Higgins, take beer to get the IDs and everything. And Ted says something about he needs a humidifier, something else, and the Wi-Fi password. No Ted for Ted. I don't know what that says. How do you take your tea? I always thought tea was hot brown water. You'll get used to it, or get used to it, because Ted says it does. That's what it is. And then there's a great joke. Oh, so how about a tour? Oh, I'd like to see Abbey Road. What does this say? Holy cow. Something his trip, long, modest, his trip. Oh, okay. Ted really cares. How you holding up? What does that say? Abbey Road. But she says it's around here. I mean, man, sometimes it's just the way it is. I know some people don't like this, but it's just like even when I'm slowed down, my handwriting more reflects I don't know, it's just like whatever. How you holding up? And then she surprises him with the press conference, locker room silence. Well, there's goats on the uniform, I think. I wondered about that. Fizzy water, green and red mics. Ted's pretty honest, 2 halves, win or lose. He makes a few mistakes. We start to get the pub crew cutaways, like a little bit like a modern Waldorf and Stadler. I didn't even think about that till just now, but it's really like a proxy, and offers even more comedy, winks to Beard, into touch, so we could get the payoff of that. And then again, another learning from Lasso. Actually complimenting yourself. So I put down 3 things. Introduce yourself, 1. So these are the 3 lessons we could learn from Lasso this episode. Introduce yourself, compliment for real, because it does cause Trent Krim some pause, but Trent still follows up. And then 3, pause. These are powerful lessons. We could take them from Lasso. We don't even need to learn them from Lasso. Or project. You say, Scooch, you're projecting on Lasso. I say, okay, if I'm projecting something useful, then for once, okay, sequence of questions and mistakes. Spits water. He has a ringing noise. I've been there. All sense of manners, salty. Oh, Rebecca says, where's your sense of manners? Salty, Bannock, Brunick, have you all are, here you all are. And Rebecca says, let me remind you, this team's been in profound mediocrity. And then they kind of are aghast at her, again, her just being assertive with the truth. And she says, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Rebecca. Oh, yeah. So learning from Rebecca, assert and repeat if you need to. And pause. And then she says, Ted, I'm sorry. Proving them wrong. No bubble water. A gaffer from his pitch. Then Higgins is excited about his choice. He says, I like this Lasso guy. And the premise of the season 1 is revealed right then. Rebecca reveals the season, and you say, okay, this is again challenging as a creative constraint to take this type of conceit, and I don't know if in some sense explore it in a new way. It's like people always say reinvent. I say, well, they're exploring it. And it is like a creative constraint that's a true challenge because you're saying, how am I going to take this constraint and use it as a misdirect, but still make it a fulfilling storyline? And I've talked about this in interviews before when I've talked about Ted Lasso before I was doing a podcast about it. It's just like, or in personal conversations, it's like the line they've been able to go on. I don't think it's really, it's unimaginably amount of, I think, collaboration and effort to be able to go on that line successfully, where it hasn't become where it has depth and surface, and you're aware of both of those things, where it isn't just a parody or the surface, I don't know if you know, I'm here to put you to sleep, though. Then they talk about GIF versus GIF, as Rebecca talks about the premise. Thank you, Higgins. Gaffer in his pitch. Training makes perfect. And again, then we get some exposition delivered in a wonderful way through Nate the Great, kind of just saying, well, there's Roy Kent. They talk about sports drinks. I think Beard says Casey Signs Original or something. Nate's sport drink impresses the Beard. Jamie Tart. He's like a kitty cat. Spooked by a cucumber or something. Great, at Feathers, Sam Obasanya, from Nigeria, Wakes, oh no, Wales, somebody else from Wales. I don't know who that is. But we meet, the three main, players on the team that are going to be, they're introducing characters. There's like, how many countries are in this country? 4. Oh, it's a bit like America. So we get punchline within punchlines. We go into the locker room. There's kind of like a reprise of the theme. Axe body spray is Link's body spray. Favorite cats, Link's, favorite of the great cats. I don't know what he says. Roy, stare down, see the players' numbers, disrespected Nate, all that jazz joke, knock, knock. We meet Keely. She's on a CG belt buckle. Jamie has an icon hat on. Office rearrange. Sing, fly, song, simplify. Oh, so then there's a sequence where they're decorating the office. Doctor inspection word triangle. I don't think that's what that says, but they put up all these inspirational decorating, inspirational sports inspirations. It kind of, again, thematically shows where they want to go. The Beard and Ted and their influences. Beard, he does an alternating snap, like light snaps in Ted's ear. Ted dozed off. Ted does not react. So then Roy comes in and Roy's disrespectful. But again, Ted pauses when agitated. I don't even know if he gets it. He must get agitated. But he's great. He says, wait till we win him over then. So again, I think again, like this ability, and we, this is just an idealized version, but the ideal of, and I guess maybe Ted just shows that he can't just do this all the time, but to be able to be so grounded in who you are or where you're trying to go, or a sense of I'm okay, that he says, yeah, just wait till we win this guy over. Like Ted does have this, he doesn't have optimism. I don't think he has hope. And there's a big difference. I don't know, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think in my opinion, this is just my opinion and just my opinion right now, so it's just coming out, but it's like, so maybe I'm projecting on optimism or redefining optimism, but kind of my thought about optimism versus hope in this situation, as I'm using them to describe Ted Lasso, would be that Ted is not optimistic in the sense that my defining optimism right now is like everything's going to work out no matter what, and it's going to be great, A-OK. Where hope is, okay, well, I'm going to do my best and things are going to turn out how they're going to turn out, and it's going to be okay. And I don't have to worry, but but it's okay for me to be worried. Like it's like going with the stream, where maybe optimism is like, oh, I'm gonna launch into the jet stream. I don't know. He borrows some tape, puts up, which Beard has handy, but puts up the believe sign. I liked when he jumped down after putting the sign up. He combs his hair. Covers up Keely, Jamie's number 9. Keely comes, she helps him. Pow off, old school beatbox. So they do a pow, old school high five. Ted does a beatbox. She says, bros, motive? Bismarcky. But she says, I never know how to react when a grown man beatboxes in front of me. Which is funny. That's happened once. Keely gives him what I would say was that a royal bow or a ballet bow or a stage bow? Nate's carload. There's lots of comedy in this with in the background. Higgins and Rebecca. Beard is fun. Nice man. So Higgins is saying, I'm troubled because Ted is such a nice man. Primitive, invisible, steaming wheel. Oh. I don't know what the next thing is, but they're in Nate's car. Ted he's so joyous. Check out this enthusiastic. So you got to watch this sequence. The invisible steering wheel, Beard in the back with a suitcase. I accept. So she says, I'm going to give you a promotion, Higgins, to deal with it. But then Rebecca, I guess, asserts true boundaries. She tells him the truth and puts it in perspective. She goes, what about your past behavior, Higgins? So don't start acting like you have this compass. Higgins doesn't feel good. Beard, a coach. Beard as coach, ? Hands him. Then we see a welcome Lasso basket, which we'll talk about more when we do the visual run through. Piano music, finger time check. Ted tries to figure out what time it is back home. He puts on his PJs. He calls the family. His shirt, I think it says George Arthur's something shack or slack. He's got a humidifier on the table, at least one. There's hints, family need for space. I love you. And then Ted says, no, that's okay. You don't have, we don't know the conversation. He goes on bed. He lays down in his bed on his back. He turns the lights out and he says, shoot, I can't sleep, which is relatable to all of us. And then they play out the credits with some Bismarcky. Okay, so that's our first run through, everybody. Everybody, Scoots here, and we're just going to do another non-note run-through of Ted Lasso. Just downloading it, season 1 pilot. And I guess this is the middle of the episode, so I'll announce it somewhere else. There's so many good things to look up. Maybe we'll just do a couple fact episodes to fill out this season. I don't know. I don't know if we'll do those in between or what, because I don't want to miss all the great extras. So we got our thing. I got to turn on, hopefully, closed captioning. Okay, so we're watching here. They're playing soccer. Music's playing. Goal. I think that's Jamie Tart. Got a rainbow. I think that's called when you rainbow it over somebody's head. What do you call it when you kick it through their legs? That's called a pop. No, I don't know what it's called. It has a thing. Then we have Rebecca's face. We realize she's staring at the painting, not out the window. Her office is being cleared out. She takes a deep breath, points at the painting. Higgins, what happens to point out, oh boy, that's worth £1 million. Well, you should have taken it then, Higgins, come on. And he winces, and we see the, Rebecca Welton. Come on, Higgins. And then this is when, what's his name comes in. Some nice paintings in the office. There's some flowers. I'm assuming the new paintings. Oh, there's a butterfly thing. Assuming some of the paintings, the newer paintings, because they kind of thematically. I don't know. We'll see, I guess, later in the season if those are Rebecca's or not. We see the short shorts on George. And tea on Rebecca's desk. She's in a clear teacup so we can see that it's tea. Also, the amber color tea is always nice to look at. And she kind of puts this guy in his place and says, you've really been remarkably average. And you wear short shorts and you're rude. Casual misogyny, Liam and Noel, not an oasis. So, by the way, head out on the road, bro, and, take your raisins with you. And he is, not a nice guy. And so, again, she has to assert herself and say, by the way, we've let you go. Good day. And then Higgins says, what do you want me to do about a new manager? Should I prepare a list of candidates? And Rebecca, in a slow zoom, says, no, not necessary. That's when we go to SVP, Scotty Van Pelt, his sports center, AFC Richmond, Theodore, Ted Lasso. And Ted's eyebrows are very up, Joker-esque, actually, in his sports center photo with his Wichita sweater on. The Shockers, they won this Division II football championship in his first season, but it was Ted's dancing that, gave us pure joy, no adulteration. Oh, we see the beards in the background dancing, too. He's got a yellow hat on. First time I noticed that. And good luck with the most beautiful game. And then we go to the lavatory. Ted comes out of the airplane lavatory, grabs his Kerouac, sits down. He's on chapter 14, just in case you're wondering. And then this kid is like, let's take an Aussie. They take a picture wide. He goes, oh, selfie. But he goes, it's not myself, it's us, isn't it? Aussie, I like that. Wicked, kid snaps. You coach in football. I can't believe it. He says, it's not a good idea, though. And Ted says, I've heard that. I don't know. He said, heard that tune before, but I'm still dancing. Plus, this kid's in first class. Then Beard's sitting behind him. They're not sitting together. He goes, tell me about, Into Touch. That's when they do that. Okay. Oh, he says, you're going to have to give me $5 if I use it in a sentence later. They do some sort of pinky shake, or not pinky shake, two-thing shake. Get some sleep, Ted. And Ted says, this is a good idea, what we're doing. And he goes, it's wild. It's a challenge. Yeah. And Ted says, we got to be uncomfortable, which is another lesson from Lasso that I didn't write down. If it's uncomfortable, it means you're doing it right. It's outside your comfort zone. Then they talk about the dreams. You got it, stranger. And Beard puts on a sleep mask, but Ted looks at his phone. Not a good idea, Ted. That's blue light. We hear some snoring and theme music plays. We also see the stadium's changing colors. So it is like, and you see names of the characters and stuff, but you see that the stadium's being reborn as it becomes Ted Lasso from blue to red. And we see wide shots and we airport. Don't know which airport it is. And Ted didn't sleep on the plane. He was thinking about not sleeping. Then I was thinking about not sleeping. And that's never a good thing, Then he said, I ate some cookies, including yours. We're not going to talk about it. There's our ride. My name's Ted. Ollie. I think it is Casey Signs original as the Beards had. Ted's hair's out of whack. The They both have backpacks on, different style backpacks. And Ted has a sweater and an Oxford shirt on. Beard has a polo and a sweatshirt. I think kind of like a sports type material sweatshirt though, not cotton. Smart move. And then we go to the AFC Richmond Stadium. It's overcast today. They have a ride to the stadium. They just don't have a ride home. And they're walking through. Ted goes out to look at the pitch. Got to zoom up behind him with the beard. And perfect day to look at the pitch. It's misty out there. Oh, they share a look. That's what my notes said that I couldn't read. They look at each other. Ted nods. Then he feels the grass. Feels different. I mean, the same but different. Metaphor? You know it, baby. And that's when Nate the Great comes out, says, stop touching the grass. And he goes, Ted Lasso, Coach Beard. Oh, new manager, sorry. Take all the grass you want. I can go through the garbage, get you more. We just cut it. And they have a little back and forth. But he goes, yeah, you really got to get off the grass. So no kidding. Then they go, okay, we're going to meet Rebecca Welton. That's where I'm taking you. What's your name? Nate, who, me? No one asked my name. Ted says, oh, this is the first good pause. He pauses even longer when Nate doesn't answer. And he goes, I'm ready when you are. Oh, Nathan. Nathan, love that name. Love your hot dogs. Nate doesn't understand. He laughs anyway. And you see Ted's dimples, actually, when when he's talking, smiling, hands in his pockets. Nate can't say hello to Rebecca and Higgins, so he backs out, runs down the stairs. She's just slowly stocking her office now. So actually, I'll check the wall behind her now. No, so it is the same paintings as earlier. Miss Welton's my father. That's a great joke. Oh, she has a coat rack that looks like a tree. I like that. This is Higgins, current director of communications. He says, oh, no, current. Okay, get the IDs, any other information. Let's see what Ted says here. Wi-Fi password, wet wipes, and humidifier is what Ted needs. And they sit down, something to drink. Ted wants coffee. She says, how's tea? How about how do you take your tea? We see that over his shoulder is the football stadium. So either they're filming this on location or they just did a great job. I don't know. It looks real to me. When in Rome. And Ted doesn't like tea. It was the, you got to have preferences and be honest about them. So it's good that Ted's clear, really clear about his feelings about tea. He doesn't try to do stuff so people like him. And they say, okay, let's go around the club. The hall of the club's a long, albeit modest history. 1897, first match. During the WWs, they did their parts. Some locals claim there's still Caspers running around here. And she said, oh, do you believe in those? He goes, well, Caspers, Ted goes, you have to teach them to believe in themselves. And then there's a bottle of champagne, and the owner, who's Rebecca's ex, who we'll meet later again, unfortunately, multiple times. That's when Ted says, how are you doing, honestly? And she says, well, it hasn't been easy. And then that's when they do the press surprise. And Ted goes, yeah, sure, after I get a couple of nights sleep. She goes, no, right now. Which is not really fair, but then they say new manager of AFC Richmond, Ted Lasso. There's applause. There's Ted looking a little overwhelmed, and he combs his hair, sits okay. Then the team's watching him. So we get a couple glimpses of some of the teammates, Sam Roy and Jamie Mosley. And Roy's like, I want to listen to this. Ted has bubbly water. People laugh at him. He didn't expect it to be fizzy. Pubs, we get the guys at the pub, and they got a lot of questions. And Ted says, actually, okay, hold on. He's being assertive too, actually, at first. he sees Beard, so he's getting ready to win his $5. And he says, yeah, I really know nothing about football, soccer. So he goes, but this is like every team. You got to figure out the team's going to give you all they have. Then he starts making his mistakes. But it kind of falls into his philosophy. We watch the Beard reacting. We watch the team reacting. He's still trying to make the best of it. And he says, don't worry, my door's always open. You can ask me anything. No topic will be into touch. And this is where he calls on Trent Krim. I like your glasses. Thank you. I like his jacket, too, by the way, Trent. Very, actually, great layering. Holy moly, he's got 3 layers, at least. He's got a jacket, a collared shirt that's open, and a T-shirt. And it fits his style. And Trent says, what is this? Is this a joke, this whole thing? Sam and Roy are not, they go, do you even know who any footballers are? And then it starts to go downhill from here. This is when Ted kind of, I don't know, you just kind of get like, all the pressure he's going to be under, right? Like this is a fish out of water scene, I guess, where you see, yeah, not everybody's going to be, super helpful to the fish out of water, maybe. Ted takes a drink, more water, spits more water out. Rebecca says, okay, that's enough. Got to forgive everybody. You know, we usually have manners and hospitality. Aren't you a salty bunch? But the press room's full, never was before. So maybe it's not a bad idea. And this is what she says, yeah, I've seen Richmond play a lot all these years under the previous owner. Profound mediocrity. She says, am I wrong? Am I wrong? And that quiets somebody down. They say, no, you're not wrong. So maybe Coach Lasso doesn't have a CV, but he has one thing they don't, a trophy from this millennium. So we're changing things up, like it or not. Lasso, Higgins is inspired for a moment. See you later, she says. Ted says, nice meeting y'all. Sorry, spit on you. Bye. And everybody's a little stunned. Ted's a little, oh boy, sorry about that. She says, don't worry about it, Ted. You have to prove them wrong. They give him a regular water, which is fine, still water. And Ted says, okay, I want to say hi to the team. Can't keep a gaffer from the pitch, eh? Can say that again. He doesn't know. 0 for 2, he says. And this is when Higgins says, I love this guy, Ted Lasso. He's just what I need. And Rebecca says, yeah, right. This is set up for a setback. My husband loved this club, and Ted Lasso is going to help me, show Rupert that who's boss, and like a GIF or a GIF, and you're going to help me, Higgins. And she goes off. Higgins is having second thoughts and a tummy ache. Gaffer is going out to the pitch to watch practice, but practice is called training. Going to be to vernacular they even use. Training makes perfect. There you go. They see Nate again. Nate brings him a sample of sports drink. Roy Kent is in a bad mood. Classic old school midfielder legend. Won a Champions League with Chelsea 8 years ago. And Ted says, I like this mix, young fella. Even Coach Beard likes it. I mean, Coach Beard doesn't say anything. He just nods and holds it up with respect. Praise does not come lightly. Nathan, you remembered my name. Jamie does that, whatever that kick's called, a reverse flip kick. I don't know. Top scorer on the team. He's great at soccer, football, but other than that, they say, okay. And we see Sam. He's having a tough time. And then that's when the coach realizes that people are from around the world, including Wales. How many countries are in this country? 4. They both say it. Then they follow Nate into the locker room. That's where we get kind of a nice, like not ominous, the opposite, inspirational moment. He loves the locker room, loves the smell, smells like potential and Axe body spray, notes of an Axe body spray. McCracken, 28, Garin, something, 31, AFC Richmond is a goat, Rosenfeld, something number, I don't know. Bumberbotch, just checking some of the names. The team comes in, they look at Ted, this is a testing moment. Roy really glares, slow walks him. They make joke about Jaws, all that jazz. Howdy, fellas. My name's Coach Lasso. This is Beard. Firmus Victorious or something. They even have a saying. This is when we meet Keeley. Still trying to check out some of the numbers. They're all out of focus right now. All the other actors are having to act in the background while, so that's tough for them. Jamie's got quite the garb on, cross body bag, styling, and not a polite person, doesn't treat Keeley with respect. Keeley doesn't seem to, she seems to, Bumberbatch, 21. That was Bumberbatch for sure. Anywho, thanks for your time. Firmus Victoria. Then we do the office sequence, and you got the desk moving, posters getting put up, book bags, card from Ted's kid, good luck, Daddy, Ollie, USA Hockey, Coach V, Sugar Ray, and Wooden's Pyramid, I think. And then he wakes Ted up. Not Sugar Ray the band, Sugar Ray Leonard, I think, was the last poster. And they say, hey, Roy, that was fun. He says, it was great. I'm working for Ronald McDonald. Terrific. That was like somebody said to me, like I said, very similar reaction. They said something, and they said, this is what my career's come to, interviewing a guy that puts people, they said it off the air, but they said, this is it, interviewing a guy that puts people to sleep on a podcast. And they said, yeah, this is where it's come to. They said, isn't it nice we're here together? Ted jumps down, fixes his hair, his Believe posters off. That's when he covers up Keeley. But no, that's only, I guess it was a choice of respect and not moralism. And to show kind of actually maybe like foreshadowing of him and Keeley's relationship. But I think this whole thing is about believing. We are Richmond, hashtag Garderius something. But she says, she has a great joke. I believe it's crooked. And she says, I'm here to grab Jamie's phone. He's getting waxed. And she grabs it. She sees Ted's respect. So she's kind of takes a pause, and she helps him with the sign. How about that? Nice teamwork, high five, power, old school. I'm Keeley. Oh, I'm Ted Lasso. Oh, you're trending hard on Twitter. Do you even tweet? No, but I do beatbox, and he beatboxes pretty decently. But she doesn't. She's like, I don't know how to react when a grown man beatboxes in front of me. And he told Bismarcky, and she goes, don't search on Twitter because there's a lot about you. He says, I'll take my word for it. She says, welcome to England. Heads out. Ted goes into his office. Believe. We get a shot of Believe. Then we get the car sequence, which is great. We see kind of Nate's, humble car size versus Rebecca Higgins. So their cars even tell a story about the characters, which is nice. And some physical comedy. Rebecca kind of saying, Higgins trying to be the conscience, and Rebecca saying, you don't have a conscience, dude. Your behavior in the past has shown you're an enabler. So you're going to be enabling my plans now. And I'll give you a promotion with a raise. So suck it up. And we see Ted doing the invisible steering wheel, Beard holding the bag with steam in the window up even. And your godsend, Ted Lasso, takes one and no one. He's still got his energy. And she says, okay. And Higgins, you going to work with me? And he goes, I accept. She's got an automatic door on her car. Now is when she reminds him that he's an enabler of bad behavior. She drives off. Higgins groans, goes to his car, which is a powder or sky blue, baby blue Volvo. Beard drops Ted off at his apartment. He gives him something. Oh, wet wipes, maybe. That must be what it is. One wet one. Couldn't quite see. Let's see. Let's see everything that's in Ted's thing. Oh boy, I got to rewind. Hold on. Ted goes in his room. He's got a gift basket from I don't know whom. But it's a pretty nice one. There's bubbly water. There's a humidifier. Walker Highland cow shortbread. The ultimate Cockney's geezers is something. The ultimate guide. Marmite. DC tips. Hobnobs. Those are, I've got hobnobs. The hobnobs are good. Hulp. I don't know what those are. That's what Ted ends up eating. I think those are like corn chips. A bobblehead of the Queen. It looks like a pillow. And a couple other things you can't quite make out. And it sounds like Ted's eating those, which seems like nuts or corn, whatever those things are called, corn nuts. Checks his phone, tries to figure out the time, gets out, he packs his stuff away, or maybe takes out his PJs, takes a shower, and then calls home and says, so we can see the humidifier and the wet wipes, 2 packs, it looks like, or baby wipes. Ted's still wearing his wedding ring. He says, she's a kid. And he calls this kid first. Just want to hear your voice. Thanks, big guy. Miss you. Then he talks to his mom. Love you too. He says that to his son. You get a beautiful shot of his apartment or the set that's his apartment. And a lot of windows in the living room, a lot of natural light. Which is, one of my big things of importance. And we kind of get some more emotional part. You say, okay, this person is going through something, but he's still trying to stay positive. But in the face of not everything going his way, Joe Arthur's his T-shirt, like I said earlier, trying to give you space. Yeah. Okay, he says, no, that's okay. Yeah. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Michelle, I love you. And we see him pause again. No, that's okay. Really, yeah. And he says, okay. I'll talk to you. And hangs up, looks around, takes a breath, and he's lying on his back in bed. Turns out it's light. He's thinking clearly, uncomfortable. Shoot, now I can't sleep. And the episode ends. And that'll end this week's coverage of learning from Lasso. And we'll be back next week, I think, with episode 2. And then we'll see what we do with all the stuff we could look up about the episodes, because there's so much. Bismarck, just starting with Bismarcky that closes the episode. So good night. Hopefully Ted's resting and you're resting too. Good night. All right, I want to thank everybody that recently signed up for signed up to support our Midnight Mission newsletter, help us build hygiene kits, take part in a community event. I want to thank Kristen, Kate, and Gail. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Donna, T.S., and Cher. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Heidi, Crosby and Shirley, thanks, and good night. PAF, Karen and Rita, thank you, thanks, and good night. Nancy, Amy, and Kathleen, thank you, thanks, and good night. Julie, Rachel, and Chelsea, thank you, thanks, and good night. Megan, Jamie, and MS, thank you, thanks, and good night. Aisha, Susie, and Ricky, thank you, thanks, and good night. Mary, Sarah, and Jan, thank you, thanks, and good night. Carol, Philip, and Cole, thank you, thanks, and good night. Susan, Lee, and Moxley, thank you, thanks, and good night. Sean, Ada, and Catherine, thank you, thanks, and good night. John, Ada, and Emma, thank you, thanks, and good night. Stephen, Kimmy, and Penny, thank you, thanks, and good night. Hannah, Janine, Mike, and Stephanie, thank you, thanks, and good night. Michelle, Rosie, and Eve, thank you, thanks, and good night. Thanks, everybody, sign up for the newsletter. Really appreciate it. If you're listening, it's a free way to help the show, free live show streams, free being a part of the community, being a part of positive change, extra access to me. And you could do all that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/midnight mission, sleepwithmepodcast.com/midnight mission. The show exists because of people that support the show actively on Patreon or support our sponsors. So I want to thank everybody that does that on a regular basis. We grow by people spreading the word. Just spread the word about podcasts or the podcast. Let people know about it. And I think that's it. We have these Tuck You In sponsors. They've enabled us to get up to, I think, almost 500 episodes in the free feed. I think the last time I looked it was 476 or 479. But I appreciate it. And so here's a Tuck You In sponsor. So we have more free episodes for you to listen to whenever you want. Thanks and good night.